Hello, this is Greg Smalley on Pod 366, a Weird Movies podcast, joined this week, as I often am, by Giles Edwards,
Hello.
who hosted with L. Rob Hubbard last week and went pretty well.
Yeah. Other than I think there was a technical issue on my end about halfway through, but the weather is stable today, and that seems for whatever reason to affect the quality of my internet. So,
Yeah, there was about 30 seconds where it went silent there, but I don't think it really affected anybody's enjoyment of the episode. Um, so I guess I should beg people to like and subscribe, although liking is more important than subscribing. Subscribing is good. Most important of all is watching it, though, till the end, actually.
mhm.
Because we're trying to log a bunch of minutes in order to be monetizable on YouTube. Uh, it's a
Yeah,
metric that people always say like and subscribe, but the real important metric to us is minutes watched. So just
makes
keep it on
sense.
in the background. I'd also like to say a movie I'm not going to discuss, or we're not going to discuss this week, but I wanted to mention is I did go see a movie we discussed a couple of weeks ago, Problemista, and I can report that it is exactly what it looks like in the trailer. I do not know why multiple critics are still calling it weird. It is not. It's a very good movie, though. It's probably my second favorite movie I've seen this year, behind Dune. But a weird movie, it is not. Not truly.
Okay, yeah, looking at it now, so that had the potential like little animated things occasionally in the background, yes, or little.
There's a lot of little fantasy sequence type sequences, but they're very on the nose, very obvious metaphor
Mm.
sequences. The probably weirdest one was there's sort of a personification of Craigslist on there. So every time he reads Craigslist looking for a job, there is a person
Oh,
in
cute.
a purple person who represents Craigslist. So that's
Oh.
probably the weirdest thing there. But let's get into today's 7 topics, um, many of which are going to be quite short, I would think. Three new movies out. I think three new movies, two upcoming movies, one upcoming movie, one on Blu-ray, which is one that's already been released on Blu-ray, a little piece of trivia sort of for discussion. And to start out this thing, which is a Giles, why don't you describe the still while I pull up the
Sure, this is rather old looking black and white photo still of a swordsman combat scene. In the backdrop, a number of armed gentlemen in various states of preparation or mid-attack, generally wearing, shall we say, white martial artist gear, but dominating the foreground and taking up probably a good quarter of the entire image is a determined looking gentleman with a Japanese style blade and again a martial arts outfit. This one with mostly black, very stylized, heavy eye makeup, which is indicative both of the period I imagine this is set and the period during which it was made. The fierce looking individual and caught possibly having just drawn the weapon in question, ready for action.
and that movie is called, and this is I'm certainly going to massacre it, Blood Spattered Taka de no Baba. Taka de no Baba. Very
Mm.
long word. Uh, from 1928, silent Japanese movie, and it's part of a screening series that will be touring the country called The Art of the Benshi. And if you do not know, do you know what a Benshi is? I think you do,
I
Giles.
do know what a Benshi is.
Tell the people what a Benshi is.
Now, these were prevalent in, shall we say, pre-sound film Japan as sort of masters of ceremony, introducers, and sort of tellers of the tale for various silent films that were shown across, the country. It was sort of the thing. This person would narrate action. This person would deliver lines on behalf of the silent actor or actress on screen, and otherwise inject a lot of real current life into the silent flickerings behind them.
Yeah, and so this is there are 6 different programs of this. Some of them have repeats, and they're a combination of shorts, which the blood-stuttered Taka da no Baba is 12 minutes long, and rare features, and they're in various programs with various different Benshis reading them. The Benshis are reading in Japanese, I mean, not in Japan, but in
No, they're reading
Japanese.
around the U.S.
Yes, and it is touring around the U.S. Too many places, really, and too many different dates to go through here. But major cities: Los Angeles, Chicago, New York, Washington, D.C.
Yeah,
And I think that covers it
yeah,
throughout
triple shot
April.
in L.A.
Yeah. So the main one that we are interested in, I've never heard of any of the other movies except for A Page of Madness, which is a canonically
Oh,
weird Japanese movie that may be less weird with a Benshi explaining what's going on so that you aren't just amazed and confused by the strange happenings.
or alternately, they might lean into it because aren't there bits and pieces missing from Page of Madness, or is that one of the
Oh,
very,
almost
very
certainly.
few?
No, almost certainly there. I don't remember uh, what I found out in my review many years ago, but almost certainly there's very few silent films from Japan that are complete. Uh, Maybe some of the shorts are complete. Yeah. So you can follow a link on our site to that uh, page and find out the date in April where it is playing near you if you happen to live in one of the 4 largest cities in the United States where it happens to be playing. But we thought we'd mention that since it's rare and it is a canonically weird movie, and it is a really cool thing for cinephiles.
And
Uh,
that starts as you're watching this. That starts today.
yeah, in New
So
York City,
in
yes.
New York City today through the weekend.
Yeah,
If you're near the Brooklyn Academy of Music and looking for a way to pass the time, this probably few things as cool as this one.
yeah. All right. So next, a movie that we have discussed previously, upcoming film has dropped a first trailer, teaser trailer, and a release date. Giles, the still we're looking at.
Sure, yes. Still from the movie with a very teaser trailer are 3 individuals. The two of them, they're all snuggled close together with the two who are flanking the center character, looking like they're both relaxed and keen to comfort the individual in the middle who has, shall we say, a much more uh, vexed expression. Not that it's outlandishly over emotive, but there's obviously concern on the part of the central mustachioed fellow. To his right is a prominently cheekboned older guy giving him a good, meaningful hug. Or excuse me, to our right is that gentleman, and to our left is a young woman with delightful expression of repose with closed eyes beneath prominent eyebrows and some free-flowing brunette hair going on there, resting on the arm of the older gentleman that's wrapped around the neck of the center guy who has the mustache and is quite probably looking at something that may be the source of his concern.
Right. And these 3 are 3 of the top 4 headliners for the film, and it is an anthology film, so they all appear together in one sequence. The probable headliner is recent Oscar winner Emma Stone, and the 3 we see in this picture from left to right are Margaret Qualley, who was in that movie with Emma Stone in a small part. Jesse Plemons, who was not in that movie with Emma Stone in no part at all. And Willem Dafoe, who was in that movie with Emma Stone in large part. And I'm supposing you all know what we're talking about now. Yes, it's Yorgos Lanthimos's Kinds of Kindness. And there was about was it a minute long or more?
Not, yeah, 46
Not even a
seconds
minute
according to
long
YouTube's timer.
trailer released for that from Searchlight Pictures. Giles, did you get anything from the trailer about what was?
I got, I guess, mixed things. One of them was a vague sense of confusion because it kind of jumped around. It begins with a delightfully purple vehicle peeling through a right-hand turn and some vague narration and some basically shots of um, the various characters, I presume, in the middle of doing the various things that they'll be getting up to over the course of this three-part anthology picture, and ends with the purple vehicle parking, I think, in a motel parking lot, something like that. And so there was a lot of promise of stuff will be going on, but we're not going to be at all clear what kind of stuff it is.
Yeah, it looked like Emma Stone's role. Her segment looked like a crime caper thing. She's driving that car that you mentioned, and the other two we don't know. The still suggests there's some kind of bisexual love triangle in one of them,
Uh-huh.
and that could be wrong. Also caught in the trailer, there was a brief scene of a dog drinking through a straw, which is
Oh, I must have glanced away during that
yeah,
because that would have stuck in my mind.
very, very quick, almost subliminal little stuff. So yeah, it's Kinds of Kindness, and we have the date is June 21st that it will
Yeah.
be debuting. So it will probably debut on June 21st, 2 days after my birthday, and then
Oh,
uh we'll probably go into wider release a week or two after that. So that's
nice.
Kinds of Kindness, and I think a number of people will be interested in checking that out here.
Oh, yeah. Top talent.
Yeah, four top talent, and plus Margaret Qualley in particular interests me because it seems like she has been just on the verge of having a breakout.
Ah,
She's been appearing in small roles in everything, Quentin Tarantino movies, Yorgos Lanthimos movies, but hasn't had a major role really yet. Here, I mean, since it's three movies, it's going to be another kind of small role for her. So I just keep waiting for her to have that big breakout role that
yeah,
I know is coming for her. So
yeah. And yeah, I guess it might be worth mentioning that this was written by the screenwriter.
right.
Oh, let me get his name.
Good luck.
Efthimis Philippou, who has worked, I think, almost exclusively with Yorgos Lanthimos. So
Yeah.
that team has continued to plant their flag in the ground, and so they're creeping forward with their territory.
Yeah, he did Dogtooth. I think he did The Lobster
Yeah,
and
killing a
Killing of a
sacred
Secret Deer.
deer. Yeah, yeah.
He's worked very frequently on the weirder movies that Yorgos does. All right. So now to stuff that's actually in theaters. Well, two of them are in theaters. This one, oh, this is a little smaller than I thought. There we go. Let me
Oh,
the
man.
size on that. Giles, would you like to describe what you see in this?
Sure, well, we'll talk about the woman here who's has her hair done up in not quite a beehive, but an elaborate swirling elevated do. She is I'm gonna guess a middle-aged white woman. She is sporting a set of, I'll say, early 20th century women's undergarments, so very tasteful, but also well stitched peripherals there, as you might expect. And she is possibly fleeing or merely just walking away from the dramatic backdrop, which on the left-hand side, there is a bookcase shelf system with some cabinet doors, inside of which we see a good number of pieces of dolls, waiting, I presume, for construction in some capacity. But of course, luminescently dominating what's going on here is an entire room in flames that's just beyond the portal that she, I suspect, is emerging from as she heads toward what might be some railings for a set of stairs away from the place of fiery danger.
Yeah. And it is The Beast from Bertrand Bonello, and Giles, as a French pronouncer,
Oh,
pronounced the main actress's name. But I'm
uh,
not sure how it's
ah, yeah.
pronounced.
Oh,
Oh,
Léa Seydoux.
just say do, yeah. I've
Yeah,
seen her in so many things, a big fan, and yet I really don't know how her name is pronounced. Say do, we both
Seydoux.
say.
Yeah, very. It's
Uh,
good and straightforward. For those of you who have been waiting around since 1975 for a bold revisit of The Beast, you'll have to wait a bit longer because this seems entirely unrelated to horses.
Oh, yes, it's from actually somehow based on Henry James' novel, The Beast in the Jungle. I would say
Um,
loosely based or maybe inspired by, because if you read the synopsis, it does not sound like something Henry James would have written at in the 19th century or the dawn of the 20th century.
yeah,
It's about a society where humans can erase their feelings by going through some sort of DNA past life regression that allows
yeah,
them to travel to past lives. And she will go back and see two perhaps prior incarnations of a love affair with the same gentleman who she's trying to erase memories of now, I believe.
yeah,
It sounds like it's kind of a Sunshine of the Eternal Mind, but
and a
with
lot
past
of
life
time and
regression.
memory jumping around. Yeah, looking at when Henry James was alive, I wouldn't be surprised if the original short story had something to do with like hypnotic regression to go through all that hullabaloo to make it so I guess you care less in your contemporary form. But yeah, no, looked interesting. Looked in a way I much look forward to shiny, like very good production things going on. So elegant visuals to it. So this looked promising.
And some of the uh, early reviews, have said that have compared it to David Lynch a couple of times. One guy, a Spanish guy, Javier Ocaña, calls it Lynch for hire. And someone else says, Damon Wise from Deadline Hollywood Daily says it follows Twin Peaks: The Return down a rabbit hole of dream logic. Um, so, and if you look at the trailer, did you look at the trailer?
I did look at the trailer. I've been trying to be good about that, and yeah, so that very smooth trailer, and I think unlike the teaser one, which I understand teasers are teasers, definitely gave I suspect as tangible a feel for the experience, the full bore experience, as time and memory jumping can be tangible, and multiple language too, certainly at least French and English going on there. So
Yeah,
looks
and
looks like yeah, maybe a good intersection of art house and weird coming toward us.
there was some very strong imagery in there, of which a lot of flame type imagery, and a lot of Leia Sadu and a lot of sci-fi imagery. It's certainly somehow artificial intelligence plays into the plot as well.
Oh,
I wonder if artificial intelligence isn't orchestrating this entire sort of hallucinatory thing she's going through, because the idea of past life regression through DNA doesn't exactly sound like a hard sci-fi,
not so
more
far.
fantasy. So that's The Beast from Bertrand Bonello, starring Leia Seydoux, in theaters near you, perhaps. Here's another one that's probably in fewer theaters near you. It's kind of a busy still, Giles. What can you tell
It
us about
is a busy still, but it has a lot of dominant elements which I'll be able to focus on to cover broad swaths. We are looking definitely at a stage. There is facing us, the audience, or toward us, the audience, is the ring of stage lights emitting their glitzy glow as is their job. In the back, there's the backdrop, which is a golden curtain with I think it's bunting, are those little semicircle things toward the top, and not just golden, but it also looks glittery golden. And flanking each side of the frame are candelabresque, about I don't know, 4 or 5 foot high things with 5 illuminated bulbs. And there is not neon, but that sort of showbiz, hundreds of light bulb style lighting things with very near the two candelabra objects are these open mouth smiley faces done up in a sort of soft red light bulbs, toothy grins there. I won't read the middle one because that'll sort of give this away, but standing center in the middle of this bright and almost gaudy milieu is a young woman in a fairly bright, gaudy outfit, fishnets, wearing a sort of a set of boxer-looking drawers that are covered with red sequins, modestly heeled shoes, elbow gloves, top hat, heavily make-up, sort of Knights in Satan's Service Kiss style look there. White paint, black lipstick, wonderful purple owl eye thing going on around each of her eyes thing. And it looks like she's taking a look at, possibly talking with what I'm going to guess is either a puppet or some sort of animated entity that looks like a very stylized older woman, perhaps. Very, very stylized, kind of let's see, beehive shaped body, cantaloupe head with a big fringe of gray hair, and the young actual woman may be about to doff her stage cap to her. And this is a still from a film that I believe has been lurking around the periphery for a couple years now and is finally hitting real theaters.
You can go ahead and read the title.
All
People
right,
still won't
so
know what it is, most likely.
the top is Joker, and then below that, like a subtitle, is The Harlequin. I'm inferring two of the letters as the figure is standing in front of them, but that is gotta be what that is spelling out. And this is one, either or both of them standing on a empty but glittery stage.
So it is indeed the People's Joker, which I believe we may be legally required to say has nothing to do with, is not authorized by DC Comics or its parent owner, whoever that is.
Yeah.
There are always big disclaimers on this. So this, what does it say? This was released in 2022 to a film festival. I believe it was TIFF, Toronto International. I could be
Yeah, I think
wrong
it was
about
TIFF.
that. And then immediately withdrawn after one sequin because they got a very nasty letter from some people at a comic book company that shall go nameless. It's not in the District of Columbia, I'll say, but
No.
for infringement on certain characters, certain clown-like characters. Oh, we'll just call it the Joker.
But
And
this is a Joker. It could
a
be any
Joker.
Joker.
Then it was withdrawn, and they didn't screen it again. I think Fantastic Fest in Austin then screened it and dared somebody to try to make a fuss about it, and they didn't. But 2 years later, it's actually getting a release. They decided, the lawyers decided, let's just ignore it and like Disney did for Escape from Tomorrow and not make it into a cause célèbre and draw attention to it from what they call the Streisand effect, um, where, you know, companies' refusal to authorize something unauthorized will make it more popular and draw more attention to it. So this is actually getting a release, and the Joker here is a trans woman. And I believe, well, it's kind of confusing. As you can see, if you watch the trailer, is a very, very fast-paced, hard to see what's going on, mixture of live action, green screen, fantasy sequences, and some actual 2D animation all mixed in together to tell the story. I believe our main character is based off more Harley Quinn than the Joker, but that there also is a Joker character in there who is, as appears to me, a trans man, whereas this character we're looking at is a trans woman. Is that, did you get approximately that from it, Giles?
Yeah, that's it sounds a good approximation. Yeah, digging into my email, I got the synopsis here might make things a little clearer. I can quickly, in this absurdist, autobiographically inspired dark comedy, a painfully unfunny aspiring clown, Vera Drew as Joker the Harlequin, grapples with her gender identity while unsuccessfully attempting to join the ranks of Gotham City's sole comedy program in a world where comedy has been outlawed.
That's right. Comedy has been outlawed in the future. So yeah, there's a lot going on in this. It's from Altered Innocence, who he always deals with LGBTQ type movies. And this one, they've gotten a sort of very limited release. I'm looking at theatrical dates. It's playing at a lot of different venues all over the country, although not Louisville, but a lot of different venues. But almost every one it's playing just for a single night or for part of a week, not for the entire thing. And the director slash star, Vera Drew, is going to be at many of these screenings to answer questions in person. It's opening tomorrow night for the first time in New York City at IFC Center, then going to Los Angeles, Austin, San Francisco, Denver, Atlanta, and so on, so on, so on for a long time throughout. We have screenings listed all the way up to June,
Oh.
although they slow down quite a bit after April. So you're going to have to follow the link to go to the site. We're not going to certainly list all those possible show times. But yeah, DC and their parent company, whoever that may be, is lightening up and letting this be made. Vera Drew, the star writer director, I think was a Hollywood editor, and this is her first actual feature film that she's done herself. Giles, anything else to add?
No, nothing there. We well, I know we at least have hopes to get some more in-depth coverage from this beyond the whirlwind of trailers. So that's all I'll say.
Let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay, moving on. Here's one that is not in theaters, but Giles will describe it anyway.
All right, we've got a youngish fellow. I'm going to guess late 20s, early 30s. A kind of goofy bowl cut hairdo going on. Looks like he might be wearing a leather jacket of in hopes of perhaps projecting a cooler self than is quite apparent from this photograph, at least even before the many modifications on this otherwise kind of bland looking individual. Someone unkind, I presume, has gone ahead and in Sharpie style marker has given this bewildered looking young gentleman a set of round spectacles, a hooked nose, a thick mustache, terrible stubble goatee chin thing going on, has scribbled out and made a black tooth in his slightly open between slightly open lips there, drawn one of those crude style line with crosshatch scars up the gentleman's left cheek and topping it off to the side with a garish, round, sharpied earring in the right ear.
Okay. And that is Yannick. The name of the movie is Yannick, not the name of the person who's been scribbled over there, although that may be, I'm not sure.
I mean, I bet I bet we're looking at Yannick from
And
Yannick.
that, yes, it is Yannick, yeah. And that is the newest movie from Quentin Dupieux. Quentin Dupieux. Which has a sort of
Perfect
very
pronunciation, Greg.
sort of a sort of very simple premise, which is he's simply Yannick is a guy in the audience watching a sort of mediocre Broadway style one act, one set play, and he gets up and starts talking back to the characters as they're trying to do their acting. And where it goes from there is anyone's guess, because this is Quentin Dupieux, and so it could go anywhere. It is available for rent in Europe. It is not available for VOD rental in the United States that I can find, but it is coming to Mubi, so it probably will be available for rental eventually. And Mubi, you can get you can get a free trial, and they have a huge library with. They're always changing, but there used to be several canonically weird films on there. I haven't checked it lately, but I'm suspecting they probably have a deal with Quentin Dupieux. And really, we don't know a whole lot else about it.
Yeah.
Trailer was just a short scene from it, which is the first time that he stands up and interrupts the play, and then we don't know what else.
Then it just kind of it's nicely laid out its premise and otherwise gives nothing away. So nicely done.
Okay. Any more thoughts on this?
No.
We always liked Quentin, though. I mean,
yeah. It's all I was gonna say. That obviously looking forward to this one.
Okay. Well, the last two things can be talked about very quickly. So this is the Blu-ray release. Describe it, Giles. You've described it before, so.
It's mostly black. The text for the title is all in capital letters, and most of it's in a cadmium red. The image, such that it is a profile view of a woman's face, largely obscured by the surrounding black, so we can't really see the eyes or the ears or anything in that direction. So we have nose, mouth, chin, and a bit of the jawline. I guess the obvious flourish provided this image on the largely obscured profile view of the face is a tear or something coming down from the not quite totally invisible eye area. That is a streak of red, and that is similarly cadmium to the text of the title. And this title, of course, is Messiah of Evil,
which we have discussed the Blu-ray and HD release of Messiah of Evil before. This is maybe an easier one to get a hold of, though, because I think those others were limited editions. This is the standard special edition, which seems like an oxymoron, standard special, but
as opposed to the collector's special edition. So it's got all the special features, but none of the collector things, like maybe a flippable cover, an extra booklet, that kind of thing.
I think it may be just the packaging that's different, because looking at the special features, they seem to be pretty much everything you'd expect. It's a 4K scan, audio commentary by Kim Newman and Stephen Thrower, archival interview, another documentary, and a visual essay. Maybe there's no booklet. I'm not.
Yeah, as I've seen with like I think it's Arrow and or Vinegar Syndrome, they'll have a release of like some numbered out of 1,000
Yeah,
for the first batch, and then after that you get almost exactly the same thing, but no like extra slipcase or something like that.
right. Yeah, I believe that's what we're looking at here. And that's now available. So it's easier for anybody to get a hold of, cheaper. And it's pretty much the same as you would get from the last one.
And
Uh,
about a year ago, Shane Wilson made the argument that it should join the Apocrypha. So now you
yeah,
can
it's
watch
a
it and opine.
it's a strange little horror oddity for sure. So with just a few minutes left, this is not a new release or a new movie. It's just a piece of trivia, I guess.
Yeah.
Variety covered this story, if story it is, uh, 40 years ago. David or Variety or Roger
Very
Ebert reviewed Blue Velvet, and he one of his talking points was he thought it was unfair. The movie was unfair to Isabella Rossellini because her character goes through such a beating and so much torment and is nude on screen and does horrible things and is degraded. And he thought she was exploited and not put in a serious film. And 40 years later, Isabella Rossellini has come out and said, nah, I didn't feel like that.
good.
I was
Well,
fine with it as an adult.
so yes, I remember her quote in the Variety article. When she took the role, she was 30 or 31, so she knew exactly what she was doing. She talked with David Lynch, the director, and rehearsed with him to try and get it right, and boom. And yeah, she apparently has no regrets about this whatsoever. And I reread Ebert's review, and I have very often agreed with him. And it was a very strange experience for me to read this and say, okay, you've obviously seen the movie. And, if I were chatting with you, we're talking about the same movie, but a lot of the major point of it seemed to have not, seems to have been something he didn't either think was there or didn't observe, because there were some dismissive remarks that I thought, okay, well, what you're saying is technically true, but I felt it in a very different manner, such as, the seriousness versus the silly element and the whole thing that Lynch did for a good couple decades at least.
Yeah.
So,
Ebert got a lot of blowback for that review. A lot of people think it's one of his big misses of review. A similar movie he really missed on was Night of the Living Dead. He gave it a terrible review, and now I think even he backtracked on that one after years.
okay. Yeah,
I think there's more to it, Ebert's review, than that, but we don't have time to get into it because we're about out of time.
we
So,
are.
Giles, let's say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye, everybody. Thank you for subscribing and watching all the way through.
Yes, watch till now. All right, thanks. See you next week. No guest plan, but we'll see what happens. Bye-bye.